Oh, we live? Okay. Yo, what's up?
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody stuck together. Okay, three, two, one, it's jam. I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody stuck together. Okay, three, two, one, it's jam.
My advice.
It's a new day, we got some new vibes. Trap House Entertainment. If you wanna find me,
What up, though? What up, what up, what up, what up? Checking some memes and stuff. Just checking some memes and stuff.
This hood going crazy. Hey, yo. In the hood going crazy. Hey, yo.
Wendy, what's up? What's up?
In the hood going crazy. Hey, yo. In the hood going crazy. Hey, you heard
All right. Got some new writing done just now. Yeah, I'm writing some raps to this one though. I like that bass boom 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 boom.
In the hood
That
going
little bass
crazy.
line.
Hey, you heard
All right, once again, this is a song inspired by the title of the beat. So this is called Hard Work. You know, and a lot of things really do take hard work. So I just took that title and I'm writing a song called Hard Work. Um, I hope that you know that you gotta put in hard work. That's right, yeah. I hope that you know that you gotta put in hard work. I reap what I sow, and I got it from the hard dirt. Before you make your next power move, gotta start first. Now it's caviar and calamari for the hors d'oeuvres. I like that. Gotta grind, gotta hustle, gotta get it from the muscle. Wanna shine, gotta bubble. Still keep it on the humble. On time, do it double. Never let nobody punk you. because you might have to scuffle walking loud through the jungle, throwing bees like a bumble. Don't forget the ones who stung you, because life is a test and it's always trying to flunk you. So that's what we got so far. I'm still stumbling over it because I just wrote it. Bum, bum, bum. Do, 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 do. Yeah. I hope that you know that you gotta put in hard work, reap what I sow, and I got it from the hard dirt before you make your power move.
In the hood going crazy. Hey, yo.
I hope that you know that you gotta put in hard work. I reap what I sow, and I got it from the hard dirt before you make your next power move. Gotta start first. Now it's caviar and calamari for the orders. I hope that you know that you gotta put in hard work. I reap what I sow, and I got it from the hard dirt before you make your next power move. Gotta start first. Now it's caviar and calamari for the orders. Gotta grind. Now it's caviar and calamari for the orders. Like that. Yeah. Gotta grind, gotta hustle, gotta get it from the muscle. Wanna shine, gotta bubble, still keep it on a humble. On time, do it double, never let nobody punk you. Never let nobody punk you, cause you might have to suffer walking loud through the jungle, throwing bees like a bumble. Don't forget the ones who stung you like it's a test, and it's always trying to flunk you. Gotta grind, gotta hustle, gotta get it from the muscle. Wanna shine, gotta bubble, still keep it on a humble. One time, do it double, never let nobody punk you, cause like, I gotta hustle, gotta get it on a humble. One time, do it double, never let nobody punk you, cause you might have to suffer walking loud through the jungle, throwing bees like a bubble. Don't forget the ones who stung you, cause life is a test, and it's always trying to flunk you. Cause life is a test, and it's always trying to flunk you. Cause life is a test, and it's always trying to flunk you. Bees like a bubble, don't forget the ones who stung you. Throwing bees like a bubble, don't forget the ones who stung you. Cause life is a test, and it's always trying to flunk you. Throwing bees like a bubble, throwing bees like a bubble, throwing bees like a bubble, throwing bees like a bubble. Don't forget the ones who stung you. Cause life is a test, and it's always trying to flunk you. Gotta grind, gotta hustle, gotta get it from the muscle. Wanna shine, gotta bubble, still keep it on a humble. On time, do it double, never on time, do it double, never let nobody punk you, cause you might have to scuffle walking loud through the jungle, throwing bees like a bumble. Don't forget the ones who stung you. We'll get it. Bum, 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 bum. I hope that you know that you gotta put in hard work. I reap what I sow, and I got it from the hard dirt. Yeah. I hope that you know that you gotta put in hard work. I reap what I sow, and I got it from the hard dirt. Before you make your next power move, gotta start first.
In the hood going crazy. Hey, yo.
I hope that you know that you gotta put in hard work. I reap what I sow, and I got it from the hard dirt. Before you make your next power move, gotta start first. Now it's caviar and calamari for the hard dirt. Gotta grind, gotta hustle, get it from the muscle. Gotta grind, gotta hustle, gotta get it from the muscle. When the shine, gotta bubble still. Oh my God. Yeah. When the grind, gotta hustle, gotta get it from the muscle. When the shine, gotta bubble still. When the shine, gotta bubble still, keep it on a humble. When the gotta hustle, gotta get it from the muscle. When the shine, when the bubble still, keep it on the humble. When the grind, when the shine, gotta bubble, keep it on the humble. When the shine, gotta bubble still, keep it on the humble. Gotta grind, gotta hustle, gotta get it from the muscle. When the shine, gotta bubble still, keep it on the hustle. Gotta grind, gotta hustle, gotta get it from the muscle. When the shine, gotta bubble still, keep it on the humble. We'll get it. Let's get in there. Hey. No, it is hard work trying to rap. When the shine, when the shine, when the shine, when the shine, when the bubble. Gotta get it from the muscle. Yeah. Gotta get it from the muscle when the shine. Got a bubble, still keep it on the humble. On time, do a double. Never let nobody bump you, cause you might have to scuffle. Walking loud through the jungle, throwing bees like a bumble. Never let nobody. Ooh. Throwing bees like a bumble. Never let nobody. No. Throwing bees like a bumble. Don't forget the ones who stung you. Throwing bees like a bumble. Don't forget the ones who stung you. Testament.
Trap House Entertainment. I came to give my testament. I stand next to the best of men. Shitty situation, make the best of it. Y'all niggas just some excrement. Hit them in the face and make a mess of it. Break them down and leave them feeling desolate. I practice till I'm excellent. Working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant. I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room and I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze. Keep it secret if I choose, cause I always had a tool. 48 laws of power, you know I know the rules. I always tell the truth, but still conceal my moves. And I stay in the stool, watching how we bruise in the trap, counting coins like a Jew. And I even stack the pennies, get some change overdue. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I never been a holy roller. Wait on a savior. If you want to see some changes, gotta alter your behavior. Never argue with a stranger who cannot control his anger. Eyes wide shut, they cannot see that you an angel. They all line up for the handouts and the favors. Watch out for the fishing data breaches and erasures. Most niggas phony, that's my testimony. Like baloney, you below me, you can blow me, you can pay me now or you can owe me. Flip that shit like Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you scared, you should've told me. Acting nuts like a scrotum. I prepare for the moment when opponents start approaching on your way. In the battle, gotta stop and smell the roses. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I practice till I'm excellent, working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant. I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room and I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze.
And I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze. That's how the Ninja Turtles came. Secret of the ooze.
Trap House Entertainment. I came to give my testament. I stand next to the best of men. Shitty situation, make the best of it. Y'all niggas just some excrement. Hit them in the face and make a mess of it. Break them down and leave them feeling desolate. I practice till I'm excellent. Working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant. I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room and I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze. Keep it secret if I choose, cause I always had a tool. 48 laws of power, you know I know the rules. I always tell the truth, but still conceal my moves. And I stay in the stool, watching how we bruise in the trap, counting coins like a Jew. And I even stack the pennies, get some change overdue. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest
said I stay in the stew watching how he brews. He brews in the trap counting coins like a Jew. So funny. ah, stay in the stew watching how he brews.
Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I've never been a holy roller, waiting on a savior. If you want to see some changes, gotta alter your behavior. Never argue with a stranger who cannot control his anger. Eyes wide shut, they cannot see that you an angel. They all line up for the handouts and the favors. Watch out for the fishing data breaches and erasures. Most niggas phony, that's my testimony. Like baloney, you be lonely, you can blow me, you can pay me now, or you can owe me. Flip that shit like Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you scared, you should've told me. Acting nuts like a scrotum. I prepare for the moment when opponents start approaching on your way. And the battle gotta stop and smell the roses. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not doing that, Scam Call. Son of a bitch, you fucked my vibe up just now. Damn you all to hell.
Came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I practice till I'm excellent, working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant, I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room and I came from the slime, that's the secret of the ooh.
The double entendres. Alright, I'll let it ride one more time. One more time for good measure. That violin is killing us right there.
Trap House Entertainment.
Or whatever that is.
I came to give my testament. I stand next to the best of men. Shitty situation, make the best of it. Y'all niggas just some excrement. Hit them in the face and make a mess of it. Break them down and leave them feeling desolate. I practice till I'm excellent. Working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant. I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room and I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze. Keep it secret if I choose. Cause I always had a tool. 48 laws of power. You know I know the rules. Always tell the truth. But still conceal my moves and I stay in the stew. Watching how we bruise in the trap. Counting coins like a Jew. And I even stack the pennies cause some change overdue. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I've never been a holy roller, waiting on a savior. If you want to see some changes, gotta alter your behavior. Never argue with a stranger who cannot control his anger. Eyes wide shut, they cannot see that you an angel. They all line up for the handouts and the favors. Watch out for the fishing data breaches and erasures. Most niggas phony, that's my testimony. Like baloney, you be lonely, you can blow me, you can pay me now, or you can owe me. Flip that shit like Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you scared, you should've told me. Acting nuts like a scrotum. I prepare for the moment when opponents start approaching on your way. And the battle gotta stop and smell the roses. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I practice till I'm excellent, working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant, I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room and I came from the slime, that's the secret of the ooh.
Yeah, there's a lot of little clever bars in that one. We'll have a reading of the lyrics by Travis Prince. This song is entitled Testament. Verse 1. I came to give my testament. I stand next to the best of men. Shitty situation, make the best of it. Y'all niggas just some excrement. Hit him in the face and make a mess of it. Break him down and leave him feeling desolate. I practice till I'm excellent, working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant. I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room, and I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze. Keep a secret if I choose, 'cause I always hide a tool. 48 laws of power. You know I know the rules. Always tell the truth, but still conceal my moves. And I stay in the stew, watching how he brews. In the trap, counting coins like a Jew. And I even stack the pennies, 'cause some change is overdue. The hook is as follows. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. Verse 2. I've never been a holy roller waiting on a savior. If you want to see some changes, gotta alter your behavior. Never argue with a stranger who cannot control his anger. Eyes wide shut. They cannot see that you an angel. They all line up for handouts and the favors. Watch out for the phishing data breaches and erasures. Most niggas phony. That's my testimony. Like baloney, you below me. You can blow me. You can pay me now or you can owe me. Flip that shit like Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you scared, you should have told me. Acting nuts like a scrotum. I prepare for the moment when opponents start approaching. On the way into battle, gotta stop and smell the roses. And then the hook repeats. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. Thank you. This has been a reading of the lyrics by Travis Prince. If you scared, you should have told me. Acting nuts like a scrotum. I crack myself up sometimes. Crack myself up sometimes. Bravo. I might have to drop this. I guess that'll be all right. Is my seat open up? Yeah. I think I need me a taller seat that, I don't know. I wish the seat could go up somewhere. I'm gonna have to look for something. The homies are dropping some.
A is for ammo, I keep it on deck. B is for bitch, better come with respect. C is for chopper and clear out the set. D is for dirty, no gloves when I step. E is for empty, the clip on my chest. slide with finesse. H is for hoes, I rotate them like reps. I is for icy, my chain like a threat. J is for jug, I finesse and forget. K is for kush, got me high as a jet. L is for lick, if it's sweet, I collect. M is for mob, I don't move with no guess. N is for Nina, she stay by my chest. O is for ops, they get pressed and get left. P is for pole, I tuck in my sweats. Q is for quiet, we slide with finesse. R is for wreck, got it stuffed in my steps. S is for sliding in the whip with no brakes. T is for trap, where I learn all the plays. U is for up, I've been real from the gate. V is for vultures, we eat off the fake. W for warrants, I still beat the case. X is for Zans, got me stuck in one place. Y is for yanking the stick off my waist. Z is for zips, I got pounds in the safe. One for the drum. A is for ammo, I keep it on deck. B is for bitch, better come with respect. C is for chopper and clear out of set. D is for dirty, no gloves when I step. E is for empty, the clip not my check. F is for feds, I don't answer no text. G is for grimy, I slide with finesse. H is for hoes, I rotate them like reps. I is for icy, my chain like a threat. J is for jug, I finesse and forget. K is for kush, got me high as a jet. L is for lick, if it's sweet, I collect. M is for...
How this nigga rap the alphabet?
Gameplay. I worked really hard to get this account to where it is. I do not.
Yo, how about they rap the whole alphabet? That's crazy. That's the kind of shit my homeboys be sending me. I think I need a bigger brush.
Everybody.
Rise and shine, twin. Hope you slept well. But just in case no one else tells us today, fuck you and everything that you stand for. Fuck you. Rise and shine, twin. Hope you slept well. But
that's crazy, bro. That's what you put in the group chat. Nobody ain't told you today, man. Fuck you. That's crazy. Tell us how you really feel, broski. Your friends like that, you know what I'm saying? I don't need no enemies. I don't need no enemies, bro. No, the friends I got. They're gonna keep you in check. Keep you on your toes. And most importantly of all, these niggas will keep you humble. Now I gotta find some shit talking I can post, motherfucker. Dirty. Dirty, dog. The ice cream truck out there trying to soak up that last little bit of warm time weather money. Come on, kids, it's nice and hot. Don't you want some ice cream? A freezy pop? Tell your mama give you $5. That's how much it costs per kid now. I remember back in the day, $5 to get all the kids something. Now, each kid need $5. Let's get something off the ice cream truck. Nah, we go to the grocery store. The grocery store got everything he got for a fraction of the price. You about to buy one ice cream for the goddamn cost of a whole tub of ice cream. We don't operate like that around these parts. You dig? I know it look like I ain't doing shit. I'm really not. I'm just saturating the black. Really want this, get this black nice and deep. And you know what? I might work on this area before I even pull down there. If I can do, because this area right here is totally black. Here and almost all the way up. I'm gonna feather that out a little bit too. Even though it's black on black on black, I'm still hit it with a little buff. I need a bigger one in this. That's what she says. Ugh. That's too stiff. Do I gotta go shopping for bigger brushes again? I always just let all my brushes get fucked up. Come on, man. I got a better brush than all of these. I guess I have ruined all my brushes. Hold on. No, that's too hard. That's too hard. Son of a bitch. This one might work, but it ain't much bigger than that one, is it? Might have to go shopping for some new big brushes. I'm always buying little detail brushes all the time. Oh. Alright, this might. That's still too hard. Yeah, no. That ain't gonna work. Shit. Houston, we have a problem. This nigga needs some brushes. Alright. I'm gonna have to buff it out with this little teeny ass brush here. See, this ain't covering enough area. This is not working right. It'll work for these areas down here, but for that bigger area. What's up with this brush? What was I doing with this? I don't remember. Yeah, I need something like this. All right. Perfecto. That's what I needed right there. Let me go ahead and get this brush kicked out now, because I can see myself letting this shit get hard. I need to change everything. I need to really change that thinner. I definitely need to change it some. I need to change this paper towel out. Okay, now what are we doing? Oh, all right. All right, okay, all right, okay. Brushes, depend on how well you take care of it. I can keep, if I really like a brush, I've had brushes for 2-3 years. Some of these brushes are about at that point, maybe like 2 years, 3 year going on 3 years for some of them, like the ones I really use a lot. But they change over time where they're not brand new, but they're still useful in different ways. I keep a brush for well over a year. Well over a year. All right, so what we want to do here. No, I can't touch right there. Son of a gun. All right, I'm gonna give us something to listen to shortly. Let's see.
This right here, ESPN Bet. This is the sports book that gives fans the tools they need.
Nation Kirk had come to loathe the Israeli leader, regarding him as a quote-unquote bully. The source said, that's saying it lightly. Kirk was disgusted by what he witnessed inside the Trump administration, where Netanyahu sought to personally dictate the president's personnel decisions and weaponized Israeli assets like billionaire donor Miriam Adelson to keep the White House firmly under its thumb. According to Kirk's friend, who also enjoyed access to President Donald Trump and his inner circle, Kirk strongly warned Trump last June against bombing Iran on Israel's behalf. Quote, Charlie was the only person who did that. They said, recalling how Trump barked at him in response and angrily shut down the conversation. The source believes the incident confirmed in Kirk's mind that the president of the United States had fallen under control of a malign foreign power and was leading his own country into a series of disastrous conflicts. By the following month, Kirk had become the target of a sustained private campaign of intimidation and free-floating fury by wealthy and powerful allies of Netanyahu, figures he described in an interview as Jewish leaders and stakeholders. He was afraid of them, the source emphasized. Kirk was 18 years old when he launched TPUSA in 2012. From its inception, his career was propelled by Zionist donors who showered his young organization with money through neoconservative outfits, like the David Horowitz Freedom Center. He repaid his wealthy backers over the years by unleashing a relentless fire hose of anti-Palestinian and Islamophobic diatribes, accepting propaganda trips to Israel, and sternly shutting down nationalist forces challenging his support for Israel during TPUSA events. In the Trump era, few American Gentiles had proved more valuable to the self-proclaimed Jewish state than Charlie Kirk, but as Israel's genocidal assault on the besieged Gaza Strip drove an unprecedented backlash within grassroots right-wing circles, where only 24% of younger Republicans now sympathize with Israel over the Palestinians. Kirk began to shift at times. He toed the Israeli line, spreading disinformation about babies beheaded by Hamas on October 7th and denying the famine imposed on the population of Gaza. Yet he simultaneously ceded to his base, wondering aloud if Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli intelligence asset, questioning whether the Israeli government allowed the October 7th attacks to proceed in order to advance long-term political goals, and parroting narratives familiar to his most vociferous critic on the right, streamer Nick Fuentes. So here is Charlie Kirk questioning October 7th, and this is something I also questioned the day that it happened, for reasons that Charlie explains here. Israel is a fortress. Come on now. Lost it. Hold please. Hold please. I lost that video. It just disappeared.
The whole country.
Oh, there it goes.
When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier. Right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far as saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? It's ours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. Country is the IDF. The whole country is. Yeah. And you're trying to tell me that they're going to concerts and kibbutzes and schools and buy report?
Yes. And that is a very valid question. Was it allowed to happen?
Well, of course, now, of course it was allowed to happen on purpose. We know what happens when things get tough for Netanyahu. He'll kill anybody. Mm-hmm. He'll kill Jews on October 7th. And he'll have his what's the guy, Gallant? Who's the guy who ordered Hannibal Directive? They asked him
Gallant.
Yeah. And then him and Bibi get in a fight because Bibi's too crazy even for him, I guess. Yeah. And then they comes out, yeah, it was given a little bit. The whole country's the IDF. So that means the Hannibal Directive, they killed their own people. So if they do that to Israeli Jews, if that's what the IDF would do under orders, what do you think they do to Charlie Kirk at a crucial moment when they just blew up Qatar? One of the biggest crimes I've ever heard of.
Yeah. And listen, Gaza was one of the most it's a tiny area, and it was one of the most surveilled pieces of land on the planet. I mean, period. There's absolutely you cannot convince me, not to mention the fact that the Egyptians warned Israel in the weeks leading up to October 7th. So there's I'm sorry.
The people just blank out if they don't want to hear it. But Charlie Kirk was a true believer. I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, surely he knows better. But no, he's a pretty young guy, and he probably started to dawn on him. When somebody gets gradually disillusioned with their righteous cause that they really believe in, and you start asking questions, and then you're in trouble because you asked questions.
Yeah.
Right?
And once you ask a question, it's like a snowball effect. You just start to question everything. So this July at his TPUSA Student Action Summit, Kirk provided a forum for the right-wing grassroots to vent its fury about Israel's political hammerlock on the Trump administration. There, speakers from former Fox News stalwarts Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly to the anti-Zionist Jewish comedian Dave Smith denounced Israel's blood-soaked assault on the besieged Gaza Strip, branded Jeffrey Epstein as an Israeli intelligence asset, and openly taunted Zionist billionaires like Bill Ackman for, quote, getting away with scams despite having no actual skills. So here's Tucker talking about that very thing.
For it. The unfairness of it drives you crazy. And it's particularly galling in the case of Jeffrey Epstein and the whole constellation of people around Jeffrey Epstein, all of whom seem to be getting away with scams. And how do you know they're getting away with scams? I'll tell you how, because they're useless and they're rich. So how do you come to a place where some of the least impressive, most useless people who have no actual skills become billionaires? How's that legitimate? And by the way, if you ask this question, at least in Washington, it's like, oh, well, yeah, it sounds like you're a socialist. Sounds like socialism. Yeah, okay, I'm a socialist now. All right. I was a Qatari agent or a bigot, now I'm a socialist. All right. Leaving aside my committed socialism, can you answer the question? How did Bill Ackman get $9 billion? Bill Ackman, a pretty impressive guy. I know Bill Ackman. No.
Jacking the price on drugs. That's how.
Well-connected and super aggressive. That's it.
Morgan Shkreli stuff.
I think, well-connected, super aggressive people deserve a fair living like everybody else. But if you're accruing $9 million just because you're willing to do anything, I don't know why we have to pretend that's good.
Watch how smart POD sellers turn one design into 10 different bestsellers using Kittle. They take a winning template and in 5 minutes, they create multiple designs for trending niches that sell on platforms like Etsy and Amazon and so many others. It's the same proven design, just swapping out the tech.
Yeah, so
well, Israel does anything and they're good, so that's why.
Yeah, they're.
Would you do anything to survive if you were Israel, even kill a bunch of kids and kill Charlie Kirk with a fake thing and make it a left? It's like, as soon as Max Blumenthal is writing a report on it, you know that's where the story goes. I mean,
yeah, the whole, yes, it's all very.
I've never seen them report anything where I was like, oh, they were way off on that one.
Right? No, there's
all. I have a mistake, but I just haven't seen it. I've seen it with everybody else though.
I think they were a little, or maybe that was Aaron. There was something with Syria, or not Syria. I don't. Never mind. I don't want to misspeak. Okay, so following the confab, Kirk was bombarded with infuriated text messages and phone calls from Netanyahu's wealthy allies in the U.S., including many who had funded TPUSA. According to his longtime friend, the Zionist donors treated Kirk with outright contempt, essentially ordering him to fall back into line.
There you go.
Yeah. Yes. Quote, he was being told what you're not allowed to do, and it was driving him crazy, Kirk's friend recalled. The conservative youth leader was not only alienated by the hostile nature of the interactions, but quote unquote, frightened by the backlash. I get it. The friend's account dovetails with those of multiple right-wing commentators with access to Kirk. Quote, I think in the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. Candace Owens, a conservative influencer who shifted decisively against Israel after October 7th, reflected after her friend's killing. I know it. He was going through a lot. There was a lot of pressure, and it's hard for me to watch the people who were pressuring him just say the things that they're saying. She continued, they wanted him to lose everything for changing or even slightly modifying an opinion. It's very hurtful to me. Kirk appeared visibly outraged during an August 6th interview with conservative host Megyn Kelly as he discussed the menacing messages he was receiving from pro-Israel bigwigs. Quote, it's all of a sudden, oh, Charlie, he's no longer with us. Wait a second. What does with us mean exactly? I'm an American, okay? I represent this country. He explained before addressing the powerful Zionist interests.
They killed him. I mean, they killed him. It's just obvious mafia stuff the second you hear it.
Well, and it's very clearly to, not just because he was Charlie Kirk and very influential, and I think the demographic with which he was influential also matters because it was young, like it's college kids, right? And that's a very powerful demographic. So I think that matters, but I also think that this is very clearly to install fear, right? This is really about not necessarily Charlie Kirk, but you don't want to do a Charlie Kirk. If you even start to slightly question, this could be what happens to you. That's, kind of the goal here, I think. So, quote, the more that you guys privately and publicly call our character into question, which is not isolated, it would be one thing if it were just one text or two texts. It is dozens of texts. Then we start to say, well, hold the boat here, Kirk continued. To be fair, some really good Jewish friends say that's not all of us, but these are leaders here. These are stakeholders. He went on to complain to Kelly, quote, I have less ability to criticize the Israeli government than actual Israelis do, and that's really, really weird. In one of his final interviews conducted with Israel's premier influencer in the United States, Ben Shapiro, Kirk once again tried to raise the issue of censorship of Israel critics. Quote, a friend said to me, interestingly, Charlie, okay, we've pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border. Maybe we should also ask the question, is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question. It's never just a question. So here is Charlie Kirk speaking with Ben Shapiro.
We push back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border. So like maybe we should also ask a question: is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question. That maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse. Some people in the Israeli government are saying, again, it's all over the place, right? You have opinions all over. In your opinion, what would a good outcome 5 years from now be? And how does one respond to the claims of ethnic cleansing?
I go back to that guy, man. He was, because I was very hard on him when he goes, I'm just going to trust my friends in the government.
One thing a friend said to me, interestingly, coolest part of what I get to do is be these over-the-top type podcast situation.
Did they take that interview down? I want to hear Ben Shapiro's because the clip stopped right before Shapiro answered his question. Where's this interview at?
Patriotic values guide how you. So we're on Team Civilization here. We want to see the maniacs of Hamas be defeated. So we've seen news this morning that, quite honestly, I'm a little confused by, and I was hoping you could navigate it and help us understand, which is that Israel bombed Qatar, which houses a lot of Hamas officials. What happened here? And if I were to introduce just the skeptical question, will this potentially endanger America's own interests in the Middle East? So please, Ben, help me better understand the situation.
Sure. So I think that the lead up to understand here is that Qatar sort of plays both sides when it comes to its negotiating stance between Hamas and Israel and the United States. So it has provided extraordinary material support to Hamas directly, billions of dollars in material support to Hamas. The leadership of Hamas have been living in Qatar for years in five-star hotels. Hamas's priorities have been pressed by Qatar in negotiations multiple times. Qatar has not put significant pressure on Hamas in the past to release the hostages or to end the war. And so basically, as Israel nears the end of the war, which is what this last movement in Gaza City is supposed to be, that there's a final offer that was put on the table actually by the Trump administration that essentially said that Hamas should release the remaining 48 hostages, meaning 28 dead bodies and 20 alive hostages, and the United States would then guarantee, through its own honest brokerage, some sort of end to the war that would result in the disarming of Hamas and the movement of the Gaza Strip to presumably some sort of coalitional government supported by regional states and the rebuilding of the area. And Qatar was pushing Hamas, apparently, we heard, and Hamas this morning in Arabic actually rejected it. That's not been widely reported by the media, but it's true. Hamas actually rejected the American offer. The president had put out via Truth Social a statement saying, this is your last chance, and if you don't do that, bad things are going to happen. The idea that Israel would be able to fly 10 F-16s all the way across the Middle East to Qatar to strike a very specific terror target in Doha without American knowledge beggars the imagination. It is extraordinarily unlikely, to say the very least. Honestly, it would not be wildly improbable if Qatar knew that was coming as well. And so Israel struck at the top level of the remaining Hamas in Qatar in an attempt to basically change the negotiating status. So the basic idea here is if you will not negotiate, if you refuse to get to the end of this war, well, then maybe we'll find somebody who can. Or maybe the idea is that you're safe nowhere until this war ends. Additional pressure had to be brought to bear, and that's why Israel did what it did. Obviously, I, as well, am on Team Civilization. I'm very happy to see Hamas's top leaders killed. I hope that as many of them in the leadership, with as little loss of civilian life as possible, I hope that as many of them died in this attack as humanly possible. And again, I'd be very surprised. I mean, we do know actually from contemporaneous reporting that the United States was at least given the heads up on the Israeli operation in the moments before it went.
I just spent time in Japan, and one of the things that kind of looms over Japan is that Japan, they engaged in an unconditional surrender. That they said, we're done. And they laid down their arms, obviously, after the 2 atomic bombs. Very controversial. People have mixed opinions on it. I certainly do. But that it is unconditional surrender. Is that what Israel is aiming for here? I suppose that is a question that I get a lot on campus. What does success look like? Because I think we could all agree a long war is not good for Israel, a long, drawn-out war, and we're coming towards 2 years in about a month, so it's been about 23 months. So what does ultimate success look like in the Gaza Strip?
In critique of the Netanyahu administration in Israel, the Netanyahu government, is they didn't move faster. I think this should have been a much more accelerated process. Israel set out at the beginning of this war with 2 goals, as articulated by the Israeli government. Goal number 1 was to get as many hostages out as humanly possible to free the hostages, and second was to win the war. In many ways, those are mutually exclusive goals, because if you actually wish to win the war, then you have to do things militarily that are going to involve actual movement on the ground. And meanwhile, Hamas is attempting to basically use the hostages as its own form of human shield. They use their own civilians as human shields. They're also using the hostages as a form of human shield. And so as you came to the end of the war, this is always going to be the question, is how the war kind of came to its final terminus. The priorities that Netanyahu has laid out publicly include essentially, basically it's let the hostages out, and there can't be a future military threat to Israel. Those are, if you had to sum it all up, those are the 2 things. How that materializes, in my opinion, is likely to be an Israeli military occupation of large swaths of the Gaza Strip, the setting up of humanitarian areas, particularly on the coast and in Rafah, in which humanitarian aid is provided, a pathway out for people who actually want to leave. This is the only conflict of which I'm aware on planet Earth in which there are outside countries telling people who would like to leave that they literally cannot. The Trump administration has been trying to facilitate the ability of people who want to leave to do so, and has also been trying to facilitate the entry of not only humanitarian aid, but investment into the areas that have been cleared of terrorists, and then you can see some sort of Hamas-free rebuilding. That would be the goal of the end of the war. Now, my understanding is that the sort of last untouched area of the Gaza Strip, in terms of Israeli serious military operations, is Gaza City. It's why there's been so much focus on Gaza City. Last I heard, Israel already controls something 40 to 50% of the territory in Gaza City. They've been warning people to get out for at least a couple of weeks now. Hamas has been stopping people at checkpoints and turning them back and shooting them if they don't stay in the city to be used as human shields by Hamas. So that's the current situation on the ground.
What other feedback or criticism would you have about this situation? I know that it's impossible for anyone to listen to everything that you ever say, but looking at this from an American perspective, what else would you say things could have been handled differently? Maybe on the PR front, maybe also just on a conduct front. Where would you say, as an outsider, would things that could have been handled better, more efficiently, or with more precision?
There's no such thing as a perfect war. So obviously, in any war, there are going to be things that happen that are ugly and that are terrible, and that is why war is a terrible thing. As far as a sort of operational front, again, I've spent an awful lot of time in Israel. I've watched tape of operations happening, drone operations. I've met with an enormous number of Israeli soldiers, young men and women, people who are 18, 19, 20 years old, who have had legitimately their limbs blown off going house to house in an area where they didn't have to. The charge that Israel has been indiscriminate in its use of force in the Gaza Strip is an absurdity on its face. Israel has complete air superiority over the Gaza Strip. If we wanted to level the place and turn it into a parking lot October 8th, it certainly had the military capacity to do so. It has not done that. Instead, it has sacrificed legitimately 1,000 of its own young men, particularly in these areas, and thousands more who are wounded for the rest of their lives, going house to house in an attempt to prevent all that, and is currently shipping in 4,400 calories per day per person into the Gaza Strip, much of which has been stolen by Hamas. So that is not to say that any war is perfect. This war has been conducted in about as meticulous way as any urban war in history. Just because war is ugly doesn't mean that it's being fought wrongly. And I think that the main mistake that Israel has made is misunderstanding how public relations works, in the sense that they couldn't have presented this war in a better, kinder way that people would have loved. What they could have done is move faster. And the reality is that the American way of doing war is to win as fast as possible. And we don't like long, drawn-out occupations. We don't like long, drawn-out military operations. That's true in Iraq. It's true in Afghanistan. It's true in Ukraine. It's true in the Gaza Strip. And so the kind of things that we Americans like to see are, for example, the operations against Hezbollah that took about 3 weeks to 5 weeks, or the operation against Iran, which took about 12 days. Right? Those are operations that...
Or the operation against the Taliban, which took 20 fucking years. Took 20 years. What the hell are you talking about right here, Shapiro?
Ally of the United States can sustain. Long operations like the one that Israel has been performing in the Gaza Strip are inherently very, very difficult from a PR level. I'm not sure, to be frank, that there's a way for Israel to quote unquote win the PR war in the middle of a very long war against an intransigent terrorist enemy that legitimately embeds itself in the most damaging places.
A claim I receive often, and we're starting our campus tour tomorrow, is that Israel is committing genocide. How do you respond to that, Ben?
There's literally no definition of genocide by which Israel is committing a genocide. Typically, a genocide involves the targeted killing of the vast majority of the population, or at least an attempt to do so. There has never been a genocide attempted in world history in which the food that was being shipped in was more than the daily caloric intake of the average American into the areas where you're supposedly attempting to genocide the population. The total population loss in the Gaza Strip thus far has been 3%. During the Holocaust, just to take a reference, it was 50%. During Rwanda, it was significantly higher than 3%. You don't issue leaflet warnings to people. You don't go house to house in a genocide in an attempt to reduce civilian casualties. I understand that people use genocide at this point to just mean thing I don't like. And I get that. I understand. Nobody likes war. Nobody wants war. Certainly not the Israelis who are not at war on October 6th. The fact is that every Israeli family has to send their 18-year-old son or daughter off to the military with the possibility that they're going to get blown up in Gaza. That is not something that any Israeli wants, right, left, or center. The real question is whether the accusations are accurate. They certainly are not, again, by any stretch of the imagination.
Author of that venture, author of Lions and Scavengers, we're going to get to that in a second. I have one or two other questions on Israel. I think it's very important for our audience to hear this, though, because there is an incessant campaign. And one thing a friend sent me, interestingly, which is, okay, Charlie, we push back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border. It's like, maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse. Some people in the Israeli government are saying, again, it's all over the place, right? You have opinions all over. In your opinion, what would a good outcome 5 years from now be, and how does one respond to the claims of ethnic cleansing?
So ethnic cleansing, the idea, presumably, that population movement is equivalent to ethnic cleansing. I think ethnic cleansing is a term that's been fairly recently coined to describe population movement during war. And the reality is that's been ongoing for literally all of human history. The idea that Israel is, quote unquote, forcing people out of the Gaza Strip, that is not the stated policy of the Israeli government. The idea is if people want to leave, they can, but they're not being forced to leave. Again, moving people out of heavily urbanized areas that are honeycombed with terrorist booby traps pretty much everywhere is not the same thing as, quote unquote, ethnic cleansing. And I think that ethnic cleansing is very often used as sort of a softer form of the genocide attack, the idea being that Israel is trying to kill everyone, which of course is not true. As far as your earlier question about what we believe from the media, one of the things that I find kind of astonishing in some of the folks on the right who are highly critical of Israel is actually the lack of credibility, the lack of skepticism when it comes to legacy media. Legacy media are radically anti-Israel overall. The New York Times can certainly not be accused of being a pro-Israel outlet. It'd be very difficult to make the accusation that the Associated Press, which has worked hand in glove with Hamas for years, or Reuters, that these are wildly pro-Israel outlets, and yet when it comes to the reporting, it seems to be sort of the conception the legacy media is like owned by the Jews.
I was going to say, Ben, come on, you Jews own the media, then. So I mean, come on, as you can tell by all the wonderful headlines you guys get.
Well, I mean, dude, the accusation that we own the media has not prevented, the Daily Wire from employing people who radically disagree with me on all of these matters. I mean, I don't agree with Matt Walsh on foreign policy. Matt obviously is a major host over at Daily Wire, and that's just my shop. And I'm overtly pro-Israel. I mean, I'm not making any bones about this. I'm a Jew and I'm a Zionist. I'm not going to pretend that to say otherwise would be.
Save time creating content and generate a high-quality clone of your voice with 11.
I never realized he just
change the way you
ever considered himself a Zionist. So yeah, I'm good on
with the #1 AI-powered voice generating technology. Stop searching.
The Zionists are the part of the Jews that are doing all the bad shit.
Some sort of atheistic Jewish person by birth who does not care about Judaism or Israel owning the New York Times means the New York Times is pro-Israel is to ignore literally every bit of coverage they have ever done for my entire lifetime.
We're running out of time here, but just last question on this, Ben. I know this might be a tougher question, but Bibi said, quote, I didn't like that he said this, I'll be honest. You can't be MAGA if you're anti-Israel. I don't like it for a couple reasons. How did you analyze that statement from Bibi?
I think that there is the ungenerous way of interpreting that and then the generous way of interpreting that. So the ungenerous way is to suggest that you have to hold a particular position on every Israeli governmental activity in order to be MAGA, which of course is not true. I mean, you can disagree from the right or from the left with Bibi's policies, and you can still be plenty MAGA. I think the idea that Bibi is putting out there is that if you are taking Hamas's side against Israel in a conflict, it is very difficult to align that with the stated positions of the Trump administration or what President Trump himself is doing right now. And that much I certainly agree.
You cannot look. I think you can have disagreements on Israel and still be MAGA. Obviously, you should be America first. But if you're pro Hamas, you're something darker, and we shouldn't put up with that. Ben, tell us about your important new book.
The basic idea in Lions and Scavengers is that inside every human heart, and this goes back to the book of Genesis, that there really is the dutiful part of you that wants to engage in what God made for you, that this incredible rationalistic world in which you can mostly understand what's going on, and you have a duty to do the moral thing. You get up every morning, you try to build something, you try to be innovative and risk-taking, you try to defend your civilization, you try to build the social fabric. And then there is a part of us that's driven by envy. And that part of us just looks at our problems and immediately attributes it to some shadowy force outside of our control and tries to rip down the very systems that actually provide prosperity, tries to rip down the lions out of pure envy. Here, think Zoran Mamdani. And that exists in all of us, but it exists civilizationally as well. And when you look at the sort of activities that were taking place on college campus last year, and you see the weird agglomeration of causes that all come together under varying banners. Sometimes it's hating President Trump over immigration. Sometimes it's on Israel. Sometimes it's on LGBT. But it's the same exact people all marching together. And you wonder to yourself, what do these people have in common? And the answer is pretty much nothing, except they really, really don't like our civilization and see the fundamental basis of our civilization as evil and wrong and believe that it needs to be torn out by the root. This is, to take the most obvious example, Queers for Palestine. Everybody's been puzzling over what the hell is that, right? Queers in Palestine get thrown off buildings. So what is it? The answer is that the radical LGBTQ group doesn't have much in common with the pro-Hamas group, except that both really, really hate the West and believe that the traditional values of our civilization need to be destroyed in order so that they can live more fulfilling lives in some way.
What would you say is the missing component for those of us in the West to stand up against these forces? What would you say we're doing well and that we need to do more of?
I think that what we lack, and I think we're starting to see a restoration of it, is the courage to actually stand up on our hind legs and say no. I think that good people tend to be introspective. We tend to think, okay, what did I do wrong? How do I fix that? We tend to apologize when we do something wrong. Bad people tend to take an apology and then grind your face into the dust over it because they're not engaged in guilt cultures. They're engaged in what are called shame cultures, where the most important thing is not to be made to feel shame, and it is to shame others. And so I think that we, those of us who consider ourselves part of Western civilization, we need to recognize that a constant self-abnegation, a constant attempt to tear ourselves down out of a misguided sense of humility in the face of people who are happy to just destroy our civilization from without and within, that is a gigantic mistake. And it is totally fine to say to people who wish to destroy our civilization, no, your values suck and they don't belong here.
Where does all this resentment come from?
It comes from a wide variety of places, but it tends to come in general from a feeling of frustration and enervation. And so I think that you can get that from people who believe they have been marginalized. You can get that from people who believe they deserve more. You see it a lot, actually, with university students who seem to believe that they deserve a $250,000 salary for a gender studies degree because they've been taught that they ought to be getting more, and then they don't get it. And then they're angry at their parents for not having put them in a position to do that, so they rebel against everything that they've been taught and everything they haven't been taught. I also think it comes from a bored population. Very often you have people who grew up without any sense of external threat, and they think that pretty much everything that's good in life is the baseline, that's just normal, and that you can tear away everything without the baseline falling away. That, of course, is just false. Some of it comes from ignorance, some of it comes from envy. The reality is that gratitude as a characteristic of human beings has to be cultivated. It's something you have to teach your kids, gratitude. Envy is totally natural, right? Envy is easy to do. You see it with small children, right? I have 4, and it's very easy to see kids envy each other and get on each other's case. Being grateful for what they have is a very difficult thing. You have to teach your kids to say thank you. You don't have to teach your kids to say no.
Ben, thank you for your time, and thanks for going through all the questions on the very important topic today. Lions and Scavengers is the book. Thanks so much, Ben.
Thanks, John.
What's better than a great touchdown? 5 great touchdowns.
Marshall was cooking that game.
Give a guy with those hands and that speed, totally changed the game.
Yeah, I can't change the game whenever you are.
What?
Click.
New customers bet $5 to get 200.
From it.
Yeah.
And
we were all hard. I was hard on him. I mean,
well, I assumed that he wasn't a true. I assumed he was like, no, I think he was like a genuine guy. And then you can see him having to put together. You know, it's pretty hard to put together that the entire system of your government is completely corrupt and owned by a series of mafias. Yeah. It's hard to put that together when you're young. I know from just saying it to people that are younger than me, they're all like, that's crazy. And I go, you don't gotta believe me now.
Well, that's a really hard pill to swallow, right? Like to realize and come to terms with the fact that everything you ever thought is a lie. Yeah,
so
like that's
back, and that was a huge amount. Unbeknownst to me, he was pushing back an enormous amount because the stakeholders, by the way, oh my God, I love that title. The stakeholders were, hey, we're the billionaires here, and you're the puppet that we are paying.
Yeah.
You know, usually breaking points can talk about Israel because they're getting that Pierre Modry. He's Persian or something, so they can talk about Israel.
It depends on who's funding you.
Don't go against your billion. Oh, people go audience capture. Oh no, I want to be billionaire captured, morons.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is too. Billionaire captured. Okay, according to Kirk's longtime friend, Kirk's resentment of Netanyahu and the Israel lobby was spreading within Trump's inner circle. In fact, they said the president himself was terrified of Netanyahu's wrath and feared the consequences of defying him. During the past year, the Trump insider was told by contacts in the White House that the Secret Service had caught Israeli government personnel placing electronic devices on its emergency response vehicles on 2 separate occasions. While the gray zone was unable to confirm the story with the Secret Service or White House, such an incident would not have been unprecedented. Indeed, according to a report in Politico citing 3 former senior U.S. officials, a cell phone spying device was placed by Israeli agents, quote, near the White House and other sensitive locations around Washington toward the end of Trump's first term in 2019. Which is not surprising. Former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson recounted a similar incident in his memoir, writing that his security team found a listening device in his bathroom soon after Netanyahu used his personal toilet. There is currently no evidence of an Israeli government role in Kirk's assassination. However, that has not stopped thousands of social media users from speculating that the pro-Trump operatives' shifting views on the issue contributed in some ways to his death. And by the way, Miriam Adelson, Sheldon Adelson's wife, who is the person involved with all of this, was also the one that ran the spying operation on Julian Assange in the Ecuadorian embassy, where they were placing listening devices in the women's restroom to spy on him and all of his visitors, including his doctors and lawyers. So this is not unprecedented. By the time of publication, over 100,000 Twitter X users have liked a September 11th post by libertarian influencer Ian Carroll, declaring about Kirk, quote, he was their friend, he basically dedicated his life to them, and they murdered him in front of his family. Israel just shot themselves. That's a bold statement. Many advancing the unsubstantiated theory have pointed to a Twitter X post by Harrison Smith, a personality at the pro-Trump InfoWars network, stating on August 13th, almost a month before Kirk's assassination, that he was told by, quote, someone close to Charlie Kirk that Kirk thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against Israel, end quote. The frenzied speculation has set off shockwaves in Tel Aviv, where Netanyahu was compelled to explicitly deny that his government killed Kirk. Yeah.
That's not a good.
Like I said, I think you were having issues. It's like his O.J. Simpson "If I Did It" press tour. You know,
last time I saw someone in a Utah setting, there was that district attorney who came out to get it, not being charged with anything like this, came out to say he's not a satanic cannibal, and everyone's like, why would you? I bet about you.
What? Yeah. Why? Okay.
It doesn't look good to come out.
No.
But first of all, Netanyahu, normally, what would he be doing? He'd be like, this is anti-Semitic.
Of course he would. Yeah. And that's coming. That'll be coming for sure. So this is him making sure that you know that Israel did not assassinate Charlie Kirk.
Before I let you go, I want you to address one thing, and it's just the absurdity of it. Some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder, and I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing is not only insane. I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying that. They just found the perpetrator. They'll get to the bottom of this, but they go, they have no limits. When you hate Jews, when you hate the Jewish state, you're willing to say anything and promote all these absurd rumors. And by the way, they're willing to kill us all the time. I mean, that's what they're doing. And over the centuries, when Jews, especially in the Middle Ages, the horrific Middle Ages, the worst things were said about Jews you couldn't possibly believe. We were poisoning the wells. We were drinking the blood of Christian children. You name it. I mean, these things, that continued actually up to the Holocaust. The Nazis said the same thing. We're carrying vermin. We're spreading disease. And people believed it. And every time they believed it, this was a prelude to a greater and greater massacre, culminating with the worst massacre of the Holocaust. Well, since then, we've learned, when people spread these lies about us, prepare yourself for the assault. And, they're trying to delegitimize the state of Israel. Charlie Kirk said to me that, he wrote me this detailed letter, you have to fight the slander. These untruths, these vilifications have consequences. And he was right. But I'll tell you one thing, we're fighting on the battlefield against the terrorists and winning.
You are the
He was
terrorist.
fighting on the battlefield of ideas. And I think he was winning. He was going to win. That's why they shot him.
That's why he killed
I
him.
hope they don't silence him. I don't think people will give in to these ridiculous lies.
ESPN Bet has made the sports fans. Did it cook the fantasy? With your roster right in the app, you can still walk away with the W. Whatever kind of fan you are, ESPN Bet's got you covered. And right now, get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 bet.
Don't try to get me to gamble, man. I always want somebody to gamble.
Yeah.
You can't say that every single time. Number one, Israel moves the sun. No, what here's Israel does, false flags, and they kill a bunch of people, and they kill their own people.
Yeah.
So that scumbags like him, this is unreal. It's like that there was somebody was eaten in the neighborhood, and Jeffrey Dahmer lives there. We can't say it was this cannibal who did it. You're the ones who are always the problem. Always. Yeah. Israel, not the Jews. Israel, not the Jews. You see how he links himself to all the Jews?
That's the cloak that he hides behind. It's disgusting that he shields himself with Judaism.
Protested.
Yes, he's a scumbag. So that appearance was just one of several interviews and statements the prime minister dedicated to Kirk in the wake of his killing in an effort to frame the late conservative leader's legacy in a uniformly pro-Israel light. The major public relations push has occurred while Netanyahu wages a military campaign on 7 fronts, punctuated by a regional assassination spree that most recently reached into the heart of Qatar, a U.S. ally. In a September 10th Twitter X post, eulogizing the conservative leader, the Israeli prime minister described a recent phone conversation with Kirk. He said, I spoke to him only 2 weeks ago and invited him to Israel. Sadly, that visit will not take place. I heard Charlie turned him down. So here is
because they were calling him anti-Semitic.
Yes.
So this is why Benjamin Netanyahu, this is like giving Robert Maxwell a hero's funeral in Israel, what he's doing. Yeah. Because 2-3 weeks ago, they were calling him anti-Semitic because Dave Smith, my friend, the Jew Dave Smith was on.
Yeah.
And they're calling Charlie Kirk something anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's funny, right? So here's Benjamin Netanyahu, one of the posts that he put up. So Charlie Kirk was murdered for speaking truth and defending freedom, a lion-hearted friend of Israel. He fought the lies and stood tall for Judeo-Christian civilization. I spoke to him only 2 weeks ago and invited him to Israel. Sadly, that visit will not take place. We lost an incredible human being. His boundless pride in America and his valiant belief in free speech will leave a lasting impact. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. So 4 days before the assassination, frustration among pro-Israel commentators bubbled over in public during a Fox News interview in which Ben Shapiro launched a chilling attack on Kirk without naming him. Quote, the problem with a big tent is that you may end up with many clowns inside, Shapiro told Fox host and fellow Zionist gatekeeper Mark Levin in an apparent critique of TPUSA. Just because you're saying Republican, that doesn't mean they ought to be the preacher at the front of the church. They're not the person that ought to be leading the movement. If they are spending all day criticizing the president of the United States as covering up a Mossad rape ring or being a tool of the Israelis for hitting an Iranian nuclear facility. When Kirk took his usual place at the front of the church 4 days later, he was cut down by a sniper's bullet. Within 24 hours of Kirk's death, Shapiro announced that he would be launching his own campus speaking tour, vowing, quote, we're going to pick up that microphone where Charlie left it. Yeah. So, and then here's Tommy Borum, not familiar with him. They would, if Charlie turned heel on Israel, they would have someone shoot him at an open air event, and they would have some idiot gripper with a genetically anomalous issue there to be the patsy fall guy. Part of why you never make a deal with the devil in the first place.
That sums it up very nicely what he said. That sums it up just perfectly.
Yeah.
Max Blumenthal, like I said, Max Blumenthal weighs
Shout out to
in
Max.
that way.
And Anya.
And Anya Parapel, both of them weighing in on it
Yeah.
makes my wild speculation feel very confident now. Because
they're usually right.
Ben's going to replace him, that popular guy.
Yes, and let's not even get started with that, but the idea that Ben is so swiftly, after criticizing him just days ago, after going after Charlie and trashing him publicly, again, not naming him, but still everybody knew who he was talking about. So now, days later, be like, I'm going to pick up his bloodstained microphone and continue his work.
Shut up. Jesse Jackson with the bloody Martin Luther King shirt.
So gross.
Yeah, this is the other thing, though. It doesn't necessarily have to be Mossad because these are Zionist billionaires, the mega group you've heard of. So this is just gangsters. Like, Israel could have it formed out. I mean, they do it themselves. They're just funny, they're real hands-on with their vicious crimes. But
yes, they are.
It doesn't necessarily mean the Mossad. I'm not saying, but I'm saying it was on behalf of Israel. I have no doubt about that because that scumbag billionaire they're talking about that inflates drug prices, and that's how he got that $9 billion Tucker asked about.
Yeah.
All that MK Ultra stuff is proprietary technology that corporations have and private entities have. Just like if you're rich enough, you could have Pegasus software. So don't think they couldn't have gone to one of these people and had them, pass the word down. That's why they say Epstein didn't work for Mossad because they're trying to use like the cutouts.
Plausible deniability.
But he did. Like I understand the legalese of it, but it was on behalf of.
I agree. 100%.
Okay, be on tour in Appleton, Wisconsin, Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Louisville, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.
Word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I'm not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
Report is that the president is dead. Well,
can't talk about them secret societies, boy. That shit get you killed. Boy, that's that shit that get you fucked up. Telling the press to do their job using the First Amendment, freedom of the press. And I welcome for motherfuckers to question this administration. But we know they secret societies out there running shit. Yeah, man, word's been getting niggas killed for a long time. Dr. King, this motherfucker just talked about a dream he had. They shot that nigga. I don't tell nobody my dreams.
Yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together. Yet we must not fail to comprehend.
Motherfuckers been talking that shit for a while, man. I don't see why, but that's the thing. They silence people, and then they keep pushing the narrative and telling the lies until that generation gets too old to do anything, and then the young people come up thinking everything is fucking sweet. Charlie Kirk grew up thinking everything was fucking sweet, and he started questioning some shit. Then he's like, whoa, wait a minute. They lied to us about this and this, and they lied to us about this and that, but they telling us the complete truth about Israel? I don't know about that one. Get young people to question some shit, man. You know, that's dangerous work. You got to galvanize the minds of the youth to toe the line. Not to get out here and really be asking hard questions. Oh yeah, I can't imagine, honestly, I can't imagine how the world, or at least America, would be if Dr. King actually lived another 40 years, 50 years. Once again, he was only 37. I think Dr. King was 37 when they took him out, right? Most people don't know he made it to the hospital alive and died in the hospital. Yeah, right. There's like, yo, kill that nigga. He not dead. Yo, take this nigga out, bro. Kill this man. He made it to the hospital alive. Yeah, man, words will get you killed, especially when you go against the ruling elite. They fear that shit. They fear anybody, any one man who can amass too much influence in a positive way. I really, now this may seem a bit far-fetched, but I really think that's why they took Tupac out too. Like, I just think they realized, because Pac was 10 years younger than Dr. King. They killed a 27-year-old dude, 26, 27-year-old dude, because they saw like, oh, this motherfucker, he got too much pull. And he only in his 20s with pull like this. Imagine if this motherfucker lived to be 35, 40, 45 years old. And he was dealing with Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Khalid Muhammad started getting in his ear. They like, no. He is too influential. Somebody knocked this dude off. Tell him it was gang violence. I think they really clip the buds when they see that shit. When they see that shit about to bloom, they see them buds start sprouting too good and clip that bitch back. And then they reset. And then it takes another 15, 20 years for somebody to get enough balls and courage, understanding, charisma to, lead again. Because now once you clip the leader, now you go back to galvanizing the minds of the ones that were following and say, nah, he was wrong on that subject. Always believe us on this subject. Never believe that. And now you done fucked the whole movement up until it gets so bad. And that one person starts reading and doing some research and then like, whoa, wait a minute. This shit ain't popping like I thought it was popping. And then they start it up. And then once again, if they get too big, one man, you can't have too much influence, man. Not have it directed in the way that they want you to direct it. You can't, if you're going with the flow, hell yeah, man, have all the influence you can possibly have, man. Keep everybody else going with the flow too. But as soon as you go against the grain, and you got influence, and you got a platform to express yourself, your ideas and thoughts, it's like we can't have that. Ain't no way in hell we can have that. When somebody started looking like Christ, this motherfucker might be the one to change shit. This motherfucker might be the one. Clip him. This motherfucker about to enlighten himself and everybody else around him. It's the agents trying to keep everybody in the matrix. Soon as they see somebody waking up out the matrix, they like, no. You're gonna go back to sleep, or we're gonna put you to sleep permanently. You're not about to wake motherfuckers up out this matrix, bro. You can't. We will not allow it. It will not stand.
enemy.
Our conversation is with Mr. Yuri Alexandrovich Bezmenov. Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt, and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There's no mystery. There's nothing to do with espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising, probably. That's why your Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process, which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption, whether you eat junk food and it doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation. It's what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda when the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in 1960.
So we've had 2 periods of normalization in my lifetime. 2 periods. And like you said, it's about a 20-year period. So post 9/11, 2001. On 9/10/2001, shit was pretty normal. On 9/12, the Patriot Act 1 and 2, PDDF 51, goddamn, the defense budget gets boosted up. They start talking about national ID cards, and that none of that shit ever went away. Now it's becoming, over the past 20 years, it's just normalized. TSA and everything else, you know what I'm saying? We got TSA from 9/11. Now it's normal. The second phase that I witnessed was post-COVID. Once again, now you have more restrictions on travel. You have given the government the ability to cooperate with other governments around the world and shut the fucking world down. Quarantines and lockdowns and mandated vaccinations and all kind of shit since COVID. But you know, that still seems kind of weird or surreal right now. But these measures are still in place, and I don't think they're going anywhere. And so in 15 more years, people are gonna be like, oh, it's just normal. You know, it's just normal. No, it's not. It's not normal. They have normalized it. So you've already went through 2 periods of that. And each time you get major outcomes.
Comrade Brezhnev said, now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized. This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all
safety will burst
to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kinds of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. Your leftists in the United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of this.
Now it's not Marxist-Leninists,
were
it's
either put to
fucking
prison or one of them split and now
Israel
he's working
Zionists.
against Sandinistas. It happened in Grenada when Maurice Bishop was already a Marxist. He was executed by a new Marxist who was more Marxist than this Marxist. Same happened in Afghanistan when first there was Taraki, he was killed by Amin, then Amin was killed by Babrak Karmal with the help of KGB. Same happened in Bangladesh when Mujibur Rahman, very pro-Soviet leftist, was assassinated by his own Marxist-Leninist military comrades. It's the same pattern everywhere. It's divided in four basic stages: demoralization, destabilization, demoralization. Lined up against the wall and shot.
It's an old game, man. It's an old game. Some people, like you say, some people can't. It's right before your eyes. You just gotta take the bananas out your ears. He tell you, and it should be plain as day. It should be plain as day, but motherfuckers just can't see it. You're too close. Can't see the forest for the trees. Where's the forest at? Bitch, you in the forest. We've been in the forest for a while. We have been in the forest for a while. People can't see it though. Eisenhower told us about the goddamn military-industrial complex. JFK told us about secret societies running shit. A man right here told you, hey, 4 easy steps to brainwash a whole nation. And you know what? It only take a generation, 20, 25 years. We got you. And then if we have another routine that we're going to alter or switch up or go by a different playbook, who gives a fuck? We'll just start over and you know, in the next generation, boom, still right back on top. We gotta alter the narrative a little bit, keep it swanky. Everybody think they free citizens coming up with their own unique ideas, and you're wrong. You're propagandized and you're towing the line without even knowing it. Your brainwashing go deep, you know. That's why MK Ultra is a legitimate thing. Goddamn, the Manchurian Candidate Project is a legitimate, real fucking thing. Nobody can't control my mind. Okay, all right. You think a certain way because of what you get told through your tell lies visually. You watch that tell lies visually and you think you know what the fuck going on. And you walk around feeling like you're informed. Why? Because I heard it on the tell lies vision. Damn, that hair looking good, boy. Hey, I ain't even, hey, boy. Hey, hold up now. Hold up now. This nigga in here painting. This motherfucker got me. Hey, you got down with the whip. Watch out now. Slinging paint in this motherfucker room, boy. Oh, Measle, tell them about them little brushes, boy. They don't, man. Hey, man. They don't know nothing about that little teeny ass brush, bro. Tiny brush gang, nigga. Nobody don't know about that. Tiny brush gang. Oh, I debuted a new song too. I'm about to get up out of here, but we're gonna run the new song back before we leave. Already about a third of a way through with a new song. Just started writing it like right before we started streaming. Listened to a beat last night. I had all the bars. Well, I had a good set of bars in my head, yo. No lie, yo. I had a hook and like the first 4 bars already in my head before I even started writing that shit. So I was off to a good start. Then as soon as I wrote all of it down, I'm stuck like hell now. But we'll let it work itself out. You know? We'll let it work itself out. See if some more words will come to me this evening. Yeah, that Testament. Yeah, Testament go hard, bro. I got some really good wordplay in there. The next one, I'm trying to focus on wordplay and still keep a coherent theme. So the next song is called Hard Work. So I want to talk about the rewards of putting in hard work and just believing in yourself and achieving, striving to reach goals. That's always a good theme, man. Work hard, to get what you want. Everything ain't gonna be given to you. But I'm gonna say it in a gangster ass way, but it's still gonna have, a hint of positivity, a smidget, a dash of positivity in there somewhere. Try not to make it too vulgar or violent or, just enough though, just enough to let motherfuckers know we ain't the one to be playing around with. Do a little bit more. I was gonna work on the jacket first, but I don't know. I like painting hair. I was really anxious just to start getting these braids in there. Really anxious to paint the braids. Hey man, whatever y'all doing out there with that machinery, y'all need to cut that shit out, man. Y'all distracting me. Motherfuckers sound like they sawing down some trees. All right, I think I'll leave it off right there. Well, no, hold on. I might, just because it's still wet right there. That's what she said. Don't stop when it's still wet. Got to hit that wet spot right here so it'll blend easy. Wet on wet. Lean over lean. No, fat over fat, actually. Get a little bit of that in there. In this little wet spot. Just a little bit. Not too much, just the tip. Really just fat over lean. Fat over lean is wet paint on top of dry paint. But wet on wet is fat on fat. Fat over lean is always the best way to paint. That's why we do underpainting and let it dry, then do a detail layer and let it dry, and then do another detail layer. Fat over lean, bro. That's the best way to get the best results. People hate oil paintings for that reason because they want to do a goddamn acrylic painting and just slap all the paint on while it's still fucking wet. And it ain't, I can't work like that. I'm too slow and lazy. I'll use my oil paints. Give me some time to think about some shit in between layers. You know, strategize, write music and other shit. I be wanting to get my acrylic painting skills up because I always just thought that like acrylics don't look that good, but there's some really, really high quality acrylic paints. And there's 2 acrylic artists that I follow. And I started following the first guy because I thought he was a fucking oil painter. His stuff looks immaculate. Then I'm reading some of his posts and shit. I was like, this is fucking this is acrylics? Oh, hell no. How you make acrylics look like that? He just good with that shit, man. Then it started getting me thinking like, maybe I should try some damn acrylics. If them shit's drying 15, 20 minutes, man, you know how many paintings I can get done? How many paintings I can do in acrylic paint? I think it'd be a big ass learning curve though. All right, that might do it right there for right now. I do want to come back. I'm gonna hit this a little bit more. Hell no, I ain't want my shit to fall apart. And that's the only other thing too about acrylics. I mean, with a really good sealer and varnish on it, they can definitely last. But it's just like, I don't know, oil paints just have that staying power. Like this shit would be here for hundreds of fucking years if it's taken care of properly. If somebody just take the time for the upkeep, make sure it's not always in direct sunlight, keep it dusted a little bit, and you all right. Shit will be around forever. I think it's just recently in modern times, like you're seeing like acrylic paintings and watercolor paintings in museums and stuff. All before, like all paint was just oil paint. All right, I'll stop it right there. Do something like that. He said it feels like plastic because it's plastic. It's literally plastic, bro. And that's why it feels like that. Get these brushes smoothed out. Is that still dirty? Damn, a lot of paint still on this brush. Go ahead and see if I can get most of this paint off. All right. Yeah, them braids are looking pretty good. Like I said, it's just how the shadow falls is like, I ain't had to do shit right there. It's all shadow. Well, thank you. Jeez. Get to cut corners a little bit. Let me just black this part out nice and evenly. And I'm on to the next part. Now the sister's braids, they're not all blacked out like that. There's gonna be a little bit more work to hers. But that's fine too. We'll get it, take our time. Like always. She ain't gonna deter me from being great. Got down Master Roshi over this bitch. That's just still giving up so much cover. I hope everybody had a good Monday. At least we all made it. We all made it back around to another week. Try it one more time. One more time. Oh, no. I'm about to go. What is that? Knock a bottle of water over. I like it. I like how the braids are turning up. Not a lot of detail needed. I am gonna have to not keep that line so solid, so I'll put some loose hairs across the top. So you can see like that. Yeah. Some braids coming out nice. Let's go ahead and plug this back in here. Where's the fucking hole at? Good night, Wendy. All right, yeah, so we got the new lyrics all typed up, and it didn't take long before I landed on this one version. It's pretty good. Try not to have so much reflection in there. Not good. No. Focus camera. It's not wanting to focus. All right. Let's see if I turn that out. No, still no. Still no. Oh my God. Guys, I'm not gonna get a good spot on these lyrics. Is that from here? From here. No. I don't know. I was able to see it clear earlier. Now it just will not fucking. Okay, there it goes. A little focus. Testament.
Trap House Entertainment. I came to give my testament. I stand next to the best of men. Shitty situation, make the best of it. Y'all niggas just some excrement. Hit them in the face and make a mess of it. Break practice till I'm excellent. Working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant. I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room and I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze. Keep a secret if I choose. Cause I always had a tool. 48 laws of power.
Yo, did I just buffer? I swear we just buffered just now, didn't it? Let's see if we can run through one time. I'm really liking this song too, guys. But since I already started writing a new track, I'm about to go listen to a beat.
Trap House Entertainment. came to give my testament. I stand next to the best of men. Shitty situation, make the best of it. Y'all niggas just some excrement. Hit them in the face and make a mess of it. Break them down and leave them feeling desolate. I practice till I'm excellent. Working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant. I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room and I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze. Keep a secret if I choose. Cause I always had a tool. 48 laws of power. You know I know the rules. I always tell the truth. But still conceal my moves. And I stay in the stool. Watching how we bruise in the trap. Counting coins like a Jew. And I even stack the pennies cause some change overdue. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it.
I never been a holy roller. Waiting on a savior. If you wanna see some changes, gotta alter your behavior. Never argue with a stranger who cannot control his anger. Eyes wide shut, they cannot see that you an angel. They all line up for the handouts and the favors. Watch out for the phishing data breaches and erasures. Most niggas phony, that's my testimony. Like baloney, you be lonely, you can blow me, you can pay me now, or you can owe me. Flip that shit like Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you scared, you should've told me. Acting nuts like a scrotum. I prepare for the moment when opponents start approaching on your way. In the battle, gotta stop and smell the roses.
I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the best of it. I came to give my testament and leave you with the rest of it. Don't handle it with negligence and cherry pick the rest of it. I practice till I'm excellent, working harder than a fucking Mexican. Opinions are irrelevant. I'm massive like an elephant. You see me in the room and I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze.
And I came from the slime. That's the secret of the ooze. You don't get no lower than that, man. The sewers, man. You know, it was in the sewers, bro. I got pretzel crumbs on my crotch. Crotch crumbs. Crumbs, we're crumb snatchers. Uh-oh. All right, guys. That's about it. Oh, it's almost 6 o'clock. Yeah, when you better take your ass. But we got to get big done. And I wasn't too much in a rush to get out of here now because I don't have any video games to play. I finished Death Stranding, and now it's just like, guess I'll paint a little bit longer. Yeah, damn, I wish I did have a good game to play right now. I don't think I'm gonna buy a game for a minute though. I'm really waiting for Battlefield to come out. I'll probably go download DayZ though. Me and P can get on DayZ for a little bit. All right, that light's out. Grab my trusty vape pen and grab my notebook. Lyrics to the new song, work hard, or hard work rather, hard work. We're gonna take this and that. Got a phone. All right, guys, as always, I truly appreciate the company. So thank you for hanging out with me in the studio. Again, you guys are the best. I say it a lot, but I really do mean it. I really do appreciate the company every time. I hope everybody has a good evening, and we'll try it again tomorrow. Peace. We out of here.